Alright, we back. Let's get right into the shit. Everborn, Ariel's adventure, and this is created by Stephen A.M. Johnson, creator and designed by Mike Banting, Sam Gungan, no relation, editor DeAndre Moffat, cover art Philip Johnson, lettering by Nikki Foxrobot, that's a fire-ass last name, coloring by Nimesh Maraji, and shout out to the gang, man. This project looks phenomenal. Alright, and this bad boy is on Kickstarter, so go support, go check it out. Remember, we always want to support the indie, support the creative. Alright, so the first issue or first chapter is healthy when it comes to the pages, 65 of them to be exact. So I'm gonna keep this contained to the prologue because it sets the tone for the rest of the story, the rest of the adventure. Also because I don't want to spoil it for you guys because you want to read it. Alright, so to sum it up, there's 4 races of beings. There's man, wolf, Nerid, and Avian. I hope I pronounced those right. But basically it's humans, these wolf type creatures, sharks, which look badass, especially on land. Shout out to King Shark, the good version. And what else do we got? Bird type, kind of like Hawkman or something like that. So it looks like there is a god for each race, and they're the ones that keep the peace between everybody. They kind of pick and choose which humans are their favorite, and they mate with them maybe, but something happens to where they give them a child, and then that child has a fraction of the powers that the gods have, and those are called seraphs. So everything is fine and dandy, life is all good, and then one day the gods just hit the dip button and they disappear. No word, no nothing. They're just gone, leaving the mortals with, you guessed it, nothing better to do than to fight over the treasures and drip that the old gods left behind. So naturally, when there's riches involved, beef starts, people pick sides, and there's a long-lasting war for generations. And during this war, each side has seraphs that they're using as weapons. And of course, living in America, whether it's gangs or different countries, I mean, wars started because of money, or even in the olden days may have been started because of women. But those two things, that's how it starts. So this is spot on right here. So this war goes on for generations, until this Diesel dude, who looks like a cross between Gimli and a T-800 from Terminator, comes through, and his name is Magnus, and he takes leadership over the seraphs. And I mean, he got a pretty badass hammer, so I could see why he would be the leader of the seraphs. So this dude Magnus's objective is to take everything back from the old gods, and not only take everything back as far as the treasures and the palaces and land, but also make all the mortals, all the paladins worship the new gods just like they worship the old gods. So of course this wasn't gonna fly with the common folk, so they all banded together and they fought mad wars, fought mad times against Magnus and the seraphs. And even some of the seraphs started to switch sides and join the paladins or the common folk. So banding together with the new alliance, paladins x seraphs, they sent Magnus's ass flying through another dimension, which kind of shows how powerful this dude was because they didn't kill him. So he's definitely coming back. I'm calling it. And with Magnus gone, they live happily ever after. Nah, I'm kidding. So the paladins, or mortals, turned against the seraphs that did help them and said, nah, you too, you next. And since then, anybody with powers of the old gods have been hunted because of fear that somebody else would rise up like Magnus and try to take over. And yeah, that's it for the prologue. I mean, round of applause. Let's give this team for their storytelling, for the artwork. I mean, everything. So you guys got to check this out. I mean, the rest of it is kind of like in the future. And Ariel, who's a little bit of a jokester, kind of reminds me of Naruto. It kind of talks about his story, or it's introducing his story, I should say. It's fun, it's energetic, it's high speed. There is story being built up, so just from the prologue I'm interested, but then there's a little bit of dialogue that is setting the tone for the rest of the story. You know, I want to see who is a seraph. I mean, Ariel, or he has a friend who's a wolf. You know, maybe he has powers, I don't know, but we're gonna find out. So yeah, Everborn, Ariel's Adventure. Check this out. Artwork is A1. I love the line work. I love the coloring, especially full color projects. I know how much that takes as far as work wise. So shout out to the team, shout out to the gang, and Everborn, Ariel's Adventure. Check it out. Support. Peace.